Hello everybody and welcome back to another dump and go recipe video. I am so excited to bring you some of these amazing recipes that I have been working on. They are so easy and convenient and I know that you will love every single one of them. So let's get started. This first one is my absolute favorite. It does take a little bit longer, but once it's in, it's ready to go. So let's show you how we make this. The first thing you want to do is slice up about 2 or 3 eggplants. You put salt on each side and wait for the water to come out. You can just flip them over once some of the water starts coming out of them. Now I've made this a few different ways. The way that I'm doing this right now is I'm actually frying the eggplant in a skillet or in a pan. After doing this, I realized this is absolutely 100% not necessary, so you do not have to do this part unless you really want to. I will tell you what you should do is put down your eggplant, then put some sauce down and some Italian breadcrumbs down, and it has the exact same flavor and the exact same texture, and it just makes it dump and go. After this video, I've never fried these eggplants ever again. I've always just layered it with breadcrumbs. The next thing you want to do is layer it just like you would if you were making a lasagna. You can put whatever you like in it, just like a lasagna. We have done it with ricotta and without ricotta. Both are amazing. I prefer with ricotta. And go ahead and just layer it up as if you were doing a lasagna. And there's no lasagna noodles in it, so it's just eggplant. And of course, if you're anything like me, you want to load this bad boy up with a ton of cheese and extra toppings because, well, if you're not like me, then you don't like cheese. But if you're like me, you love cheese and you are going to smother as much cheese on this as you possibly can. I've also added some fresh basil on top. Another way I do this is to add on some fresh mozzarella and some more basil, and this will just melt down into the eggplant lasagna, and it is oh so delicious. What you want to do then is cook this on low or high until you see that it is totally done cooking, the cheese is melted, and it will taste delicious. This next one I think I've shown before, but it is too good to not share it again. For this recipe, I'm putting about 3 bell peppers into my crock pot. Then I'm going to put 2 to 3 onions in there, depending on how big the onions are. I like to use white onions. My husband and I seem to be pretty sensitive to red onions, and I think the white and the yellow onions just taste better. So this is what I prefer to use. I do like to break them up just to make sure that they cook well and that they get evenly dispersed throughout the entire crock pot. Next, I'm adding in a can of fire roasted tomatoes. These are so good. It's not essential to the recipe if you prefer to use something else, but I just like these a lot. I also try to remove as much of the liquid as I can, so as you can see looking at these, there's not very much juice left in it, and that's just the way we prefer it because it keeps the sauce thick instead of thin. If you like thin sauce, then go ahead and leave in the liquid. I've also added a can of regular crushed tomatoes and some tomato sauce from a jar. Next up is some garlic to taste and some salt and pepper to taste. This is really up to you. If you don't like garlic, you don't have to put it in there. I love garlic, as you can see, so there is quite a bit of garlic in here. And finally, we are topping this off with some Italian sausage. What you're going to do once all of the sausage is in here is you will cook this on low or high until the sausage is thoroughly cooked through. When your sausage is cooked through the entire way, it's time to take those out of the crock pot. Go ahead and remove those with a fork or anything that you have to take them out. This is just the easiest way for me. I love this recipe because there's so many different things you can do with it. Here you can see I am making a sandwich. This is how my husband likes to eat it. He loves making sandwiches out of these. So you put the sausage in bread and then you'll top it with the peppers and the onions. The other way that we really enjoy eating these is after we've had them on sandwiches one day, we will kind of cut them up into little coins and mix them into the sauce, and we'll put it over top of pasta. That personally is my favorite way to eat it, but to each their own. He likes the sandwiches, I like the pasta. It's a win-win situation because we can both eat them the way that we want. If you haven't tried this recipe yet, you absolutely have to. It is my go-to recipe. It is so good. So many different ways to eat it. How can you go wrong? Trust me. Try this recipe if you don't try any of the others. This next one is honestly super easy, and if you haven't tried it yet, where have you been? Meatballs in the crock pot. I got these meatballs from Aldi. They are actually pork meatballs, and I haven't tried them because I'm a vegetarian, but my husband loves these. It is so easy to just put them in the crock pot like you see me doing here, and covering them with sauce and cheese and letting them cook. Let me show you how amazing these are. This is so easy. I'm just throwing in a can of diced tomatoes, some tomato paste, and then I'm mixing it all up and throwing some cheese on top. And you leave it on for a couple hours and voila! Meatballs for Meatball Subs. This next recipe I didn't do as dump and go, but it can be done in a crock pot and it is oh so delicious. So throw it in your crock pot and make it a dump and go recipe. This recipe is pretty similar to crack bread. It starts by putting ranch dressing on the bottom, which is a little bit different, but it's so tasty. Put some cheddar cheese down over top, and then you're going to cut up some biscuits into little squares and kind of layer them around each other with some cheese in the center, just like this. This is why it is a pull apart bread, since you're kind of layering them around in a circle like this. Once you're done, you want to make sure everything's in there nice and tight, and it's going to bake into this delicious goodness once you're done. Next, we're adding some bacon on top. Then we're adding some butter and some garlic. We're just mixing this around in a little bowl and adding about half of this mixture on top. Should look like this when it's done. It's delicious, and after you've left it in your crock pot or baked it in your oven, it will come out looking like this. And you will pour the rest of that delicious buttery mixture on top and let that soak in for a couple minutes before you devour this entire thing. Trust me when I say you will not regret making this one until you've eaten all of it and you feel really guilty for eating way too much food. Next up is another tater tot recipe that is to die for. I love making tater tot recipes because they are so easy and so tasty. So with any tater tot recipe, the first thing to do is layer up some tater tots. Next, we're putting on some buffalo wing sauce. I know it sounds weird, but trust me, it is amazing. Just put your favorite buffalo sauce on top. Then we're going to go ahead and pack on some cheese. We're using cheddar cheese here. This is honestly the best choice for this type of thing, but if you have another type of cheese, go ahead and add it, and put in some bacon bits. You're going to cover this and cook it on high for 4, 5, 6 hours until you see the cheese starting to brown. Once it's done, it should look like this, and go ahead and scoop it out onto a plate and enjoy this delicious tater tot casserole. It might not look the best, but my goodness, is it delicious. Thank you so much for watching my dump and go crock pot recipes. I hope this has inspired you to use your crock pot a little bit more and do some easy dump and go recipes for you and your family. They are so easy, so good, so effortless. You just have to try them. Please let me know what you think of these recipes. If there's any recipes you would like me to try, please link them down below. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave those down in the comment box as well, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!